Okay, we're going to work on this bike here a little bit. So instead of playing with the wiring, I'm going to go over here and work on the foot guard. Keep your foot out of the pulley down here. So yeah, we're going to make this all work over here. Limited space. I don't need to sit down on a job, but in this case, this is a sit-down job. Okay, so required tools. This is an important one. Okay, I gotta get some nice paper to work with, so the government gives me some free paper to use. So basically, we're going to have to, when you have your foot on the pedal here, your ankle's up against this pulley, which is obviously going around a circle. So that tends to eat up your pant legs and your ankle and your boot and shoe and whatever else you got in the way. So when she's on the bike, she has to move her foot way in like this, pigeon toe it to get to the shifter here, which really puts her whole ankle up onto this. So first thing I'm going to do is move this out to eliminate that problem, so you can work your foot way out here off the peg. So I want to pick me up one of these long pegs like this, and that'll move it out a couple inches, which will help a lot on that part. We still got to do something about this. So the original bracket they had was this thing here, which is mounted right here, and it's kind of like a foot peg. It's made like a footboard way back here. We're not putting that back on. So we got these two bolt holes up here not being used, so we can use one or both of those to make a guard to go across. If you just want to keep your ankle out of, or the foot out of here, you can run a flat strap from here around straight over to here with a slight offset to it, and then put a spacer between that and there about that long, so you don't have to try to make it bend all the way around deep, which would be really hard to do. So that's one way of doing it. If you want to do a double, then you could do a double off this way and that way. It'll look kind of crappy coming across like that. You've still got your problem between here and here, which would be close. It'd probably keep you out though. So that's an option. The other option is you do some kind of a Y bracket coming across, weld them together and go back to here. So more options. So what I'm thinking about is I'm going to take a piece of sheet metal, but not 1/4 inch like this, something I can bend. Come off of this hole here, kind of go out, expand out a little bit, go around, and catch these two holes here. Now I don't think I can make the bend deep enough to go in like that. That'd be a pretty hard bend to do, but it might be enough to get it done. But I can definitely put spacers in here and move it out a little bit if I have to. So what I need to do right now is make up a pattern for what I want to do. So that's what all this is about. So let's see if this can be done. Let's see, how's that look? Can you see what I'm doing at all? Kind of. Good upper view. Okay, and my butt's getting tired of sitting on this ball already. That means I gotta work harder. Okay, so first thing I do is figure out what we need. Go way deep in there like this, around like that. It's going to be almost a full length. It's a long piece. Alright, so we need something that's going to be about that long. Let's see, if I keep that in there for a hard bend, that gives me something to work with. Whole pattern's about this much. Keep it big. There you go. So you take it, bend it around, like that, back to here, and if you can make something like that, that would work. Problem's making that. Okay, so you need to make a hard bend on this, but not super hard. So you need to bend it around something that's about the right radius, something like that. Remember, you got to duplicate this in metal, so don't make it too sharp. Okay, that would work there. Keep her having up higher in the air. Drop it down a little bit more, depending on what we're going to do over here. Okay, we're going to come out here a little ways. Need another bend, something out here, a little bigger radius on it, so I'll use the foot peg here, a little bit bigger radius. Looks like it's angled forward a little bit on us. It is. it's definitely tilted about 10 degrees, so that's going to affect your bend. So that's called a complex bend. A lot harder to make those, especially to look good. It's actually very hard to do. So if you cut this at an angle, that would make it a little easier. Cut this part at an angle. Okay, so see how big you want this stuff to really look like. You look at it from the top view and see if you like the looks of it. Looks like crap. So the top view is over here. There's a big S-bend in here and a real sharp edges on this. That's why when you pull it out more like this, it's easier to do it. Make it look a little cleaner. You got a big gap in here. Instead of having that come across, you can come out a lot further over here. Actually makes it look a little cleaner, I think. Makes it easier to make too. So I kind of like that a little bit better than the other way. So, come out a little further. You still got to decide if you want to make a hard wrap around this or a more even wrap. First thing I do is tilt it. I just don't like the looks of it being way in there like that. Just make it straight. It actually looks a little bit better to me. Very slight jog is all I'm looking for. I like the looks of that better myself. Alright, so this is going to be down here. About here. It's a precision marking device. There's where your hole goes. If you tap on it hard enough, it'll actually put a hole through it. Those are in my way. Oh, there's a hole. Look at that. Right where it belongs, too. Imagine that. And these holes are going to be a little bit different over here. Got to determine how far I want to go on those. So those I'll have to cut in there a little bit. This hole will probably get moved back a little bit. Follow this angle here, or you can drop it down a little bit to keep it more level. That's a toss-up. Now, next thing, cut away the excess crap we don't need. So we don't need any of this back here. See if we can get this to look a little better. Losing this much is going to make it look better. That made it look a lot better. Okay, I'm going to pull this out of here. That is bad Allen. is terrible. That is going to round off my wrench. It's rounded out pretty bad. We're not reusing this. Okay. Okay, that part's set. So your ankle can be on here. If we pull up a hill a little bit, goes up a little higher. This is not going to drop any. Your foot's right up against this. We're following our line here. So this is a little close right here, so maybe want that a little bit higher through there, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll leave it low for now, it looks better. If we have to do something more to that, we'll have to play with it a little bit more. So you might have to do something that covers up the whole pulley, maybe. Go more like this, up and come back down. So if you want to see what that looks like, we can always make one of those. We just happen to have more material here. So just take what you got here and you duplicate. There you go. It's going to fall over if I'm not careful. So about how much higher do we want to go? Well, it's got the angle built into it already. I like this. Okay, so okay, so that's what we have right now. Except this here is 90 degrees right now. Oop, over here, that's 90. And that is not, you can see how it's angled forward. So that'll help us a little bit on the rest of that. So now we'll lay that up over here. We need to bang this hole in here again. So we got our hole banging tool sitting right here, waiting to be used again. Off. Might be a little high on that one. Maybe that one's a little low, we don't know. Now the other one's a little low. It's almost flush now. Okay, so now figure about where that's going to sit. Okay, we're coming flush along our bottom right now, so I'm not sure we got up in here to work with, so this is our pulley mark. Alright, so that highlights our pulley, so we know where it's at. Cut line like this. Over here, it's our pulley. Alright, so now I gotta figure out how we want to cut this now. So this can't be a sharp line here because we have to cut this from metal. Something like that. And then we're going to want to have this coming down at some kind of an angle. Looks a lot better than that one. Flush on the bottom. There's another hole up here somewhere. There's another bolt hole. Oh, that's tight. Okay. So that gives you a rough idea what it would look like if we cut it. We just added a piece on here. Look a little better. Alright, I need some better Allens. These things are all worn out of the metric, I'm not sure which. We'll find out. Of course you weren't looking at any of that because the camera's in the wrong spot. But that's okay. We like it being in the wrong spot. Let's see, metric Allens. Right here. If that don't work, I think it's one of these here is what goes in there. There's a reason why that's odd. It's one of these. Okay, let's see what we got here. Not this one. That is really, really loose. That's metric. These bolts are pretty bad. Yep. That doesn't want to go in either. Hate ruining my tools. It's going to round off or it's going to come out. It's going to round. Feel it starting to round. So trying to get that out is going to be interesting. Alright. we'll leave it in there for now. Alright, so we're going to try to figure out what we want to do here. So I can make a plate that just covers up this plate and goes right across the edge. And it keeps the gap between the pulley real thin, so you can't get anything in there. So if you got a pant leg like this blowing around out in the wind, it's not going to get damaged. And we just come with 2 bolts off of here, spacers, and bolt it in. Now if you want to cut the sculpture, cut this down deeper, then you'll be exposing this pulley up in here, and at some point we're going to have a lip up in here that you're going to be looking at. So that's when you're going to have how much of this pulley do you want to really be exposed. So the more you get down to here, the more you got a chance of throwing something down in between here, causing a problem. So if you cover the whole thing up, you have almost 0 chance of having a problem. And if you're down in here, more of a problem. So if you just have a boot on, it's pretty good like this. You got this big hole back here for stuff to catch in. If you, like I said, if you run a showy boots on or something fancy or frilly crap, it's going to get caught and it's going to rip up your boots. So if you put this on there, like I said, you're pretty much 100% protected. It's like this, nothing's really going to get in there. So you just cover it up like that. And makes it nice and clean, and like that. Now you can expose more of this if you want. Just have 1 screw and follow it up like that and make a cover, which would open up that area right there like this. I think if you're going to cover it up, it'd probably look better just to cover up the whole thing and be done with it. So those are your different options. So I can figure out what I want to do on it. I'm thinking it'd be better to cover the whole thing up. It gives the sheet metal more strength when you do it that way. You have a couple of holes over here, about where my thumb is, right in here somewhere. You would make this part here first, then you would come back and put this hole in next. You mount it in the front, because this you don't have access to. This here you can cut and trim and cut off the excess in the back, and it's real simple to work. In the front's more difficult. So I have my angle. This is angle cut right now, which matches how this is, because this is not straight either. It's actually tilted forward pretty good. So something like that, I think is probably their better option of how to do this. It looks nice and clean, and this will be all opened up pretty wide, so it's not going to look too awful bad. So I think that's more the direction I'm going to go. Now to get these screws out of here, that's going to be another problem. These probably have Loctite on them, so if I heat them up with a torch a little bit and warm them up, it might let them come out easier, because they're all rounded out. But I need to go find me a piece of sheet metal that's about this big. Easier said than done around here. So at least I got kind of a plan of what I want to do. Alright, I'm going to go see what I can find, and I might be back, might not.